Hey everyone, welcome back to ArxangelRC. Today I will be looking at another EKEN camera, the H9R. Just like the V8s, it comes with a ton of accessories, including, as you've already probably guessed, a small tripod and a skeleton case, a watertight case, a velcro strap, a remote controller with a battery, some zip ties and a steel cable, a spare door for the watertight case, an array of mounts and adapters, and a spare battery with a separate charger for 2 batteries and a charging cable. Dang, that's a lot of stuff, and unlike the V8s, this camera is much cheaper, but still claims 4K capabilities. In addition, it has 2 more buttons on the side, which really improves menu navigation and is a bit more intuitive than the V8s, though it has the same firmware, which was clearly designed for a touchscreen, but alas, the H9R doesn't have one either. Also, it does too suffer from the same plastic and cheap build quality feel, just like the V8s. In any case, this camera seemed like a good package, so I started wondering what could possibly be the reason it is cheaper than the V8s when it actually comes with an additional battery and a remote. The fact that the H9R does not have any sort of stabilization might be part of the reason, although here you finally get higher frame rate options, which is nice. Sadly, no analog video out of this one as well. When asked about it, EKEN replied that it was because the HD out was much better and higher quality, though I suppose they have failed to properly analyze the market and see that HD for FPV is far from mainstream, and all they will achieve with their cameras is frustrate end users looking to get analog video out of them, and that, I assume, is no small part of the action camera market these days. Recording something with the camera revealed that it does record 4K at around 60 megabits per second, which specification wise is on par with the V8s and even the SJ7 camera, but then it hit me. Looking at the recorded video clearly shows why this camera is so much cheaper than the rest of them, and I'm going to dive right into it. Look at this footage and try to see something weird with it. Look in the details. Seems like a million ants are moving all over the screen, doesn't it? Well, that right there is why this camera is so much cheaper than the rest of them. This, my friends, is not real 4K. This is interpolated 4K, and a badly done one at that. Just as a comparison, take a look at the same footage from the Firefly 6S, which is also an interpolated 4K camera, but just look at the difference in image quality, and there is none of that movement in the details in this video. And you know what? The Firefly is about the same price as the H9R minus the remote, tripod and second battery, but video quality is still better, and this is what is important with these cameras for me. To add to the comparison, here is the same footage from the SJ7, a true 4K camera. I don't know about you, but I see a ton of difference between it and the H9R. Yes, the SJ7 is 3 to 4 times more expensive, but if you happen to chance upon a sale, you can get it for as low as just over twice the price of the EKEN. I guess you really do get what you pay for here. Once you strip the H9R from its accessories, you're left with one of those $40-something cameras that claim to be 4K, so nothing too impressive here, sadly. One of the 2 things that it can do better than the SJ7, for instance, is have true 16:9 720p recording at 120 frames per second, whereas for some reason the SJ7, or at least my unit, records 720p at 240 frames per second in 4:3 that it then stretches out to 16:9, and it just looks weird, but still, that's 240 frames per second, allowing you to slow down the footage 8 times without it looking choppy. You can really see where your money is going to with this camera. But an argument can be had that the H9R is a cheaper camera and the video quality does reflect that, but look at the Firefly 6S. Pretty much same price, but build quality seems higher and recorded video quality is leaps above. I'd be more than willing to sacrifice a spare battery or a remote for that. Not to mention that the Firefly 6S is fully compatible with GoPro 3 batteries and video cables, and these are cheap and abundant, so you don't have to wait 10 years until HD becomes mainstream for FPV before you can use your new your ancient EKEN camera to fly your model. But don't despair, people from EKEN. This upcoming weekend I will be testing a new HD FPV system, and if the HDMI out on the H9R is working as it should, you can rest assured that there will be at least one person using one of your cameras for HD FPV as you claim it was meant to. But let's talk value for money. I bought my camera on Amazon and it was around $60 something when I did, but visiting the usual suspects, by which I mean Banggood and GearBest, I can see that the supposedly original EKEN H9R is about $20 cheaper, though granted without the tripod and spare battery and the battery charger. This is one expensive tripod, and the batteries too, especially considering that they can be had for $2.50 a piece from GearBest. But never mind that. What I find astonishing is that if we assume that EKEN is the original manufacturer of this camera, they are obviously making it for other companies as well, because GearBest has probably 4 other listings for this camera under different names, and I can confirm that looks-wise and specs-wise they are identical. And yes, they all claim to have 4K capability, some even claim Ultra HD resolution, which is a total bullshit. Ultra HD is even higher resolution than regular 4K, and this camera can't even do that properly. Looking at the specs, we can see that this camera is equipped with a SunPlus 6350 processor, which can indeed record native 4K. But at 10 frames per second, and that is a long way away from the advertised 25 frames per second, which in the end is achieved through interpolation of lower resolution images and is not real native 4K, hence it doesn't look the best it could, and it is also done poorly. Hence why recording this abomination at 60 megabits per second is a shocking waste of SD card space, as it can probably be done without any further image degradation at 30 megabits per second, thus at least doubling the duration of video you can record. Some of you might argue that the H9R is over a year-old model, but so are the SJ7 Star and the Firefly 6S, and I haven't updated either with the latest firmware, but you don't see me complaining about them, do you? It is entirely possible that the EKEN could record a decent 1080p video, but I wouldn't get a 4K camera for its 1080p recording, and honestly, this one fails exactly at what it is advertised for. I guess I shouldn't have hoped for much at this price, but the Firefly 6S really did raise the bar quite a bit. Now, I did mount the H9R on the Believer and flew with it for a long time, and even though when the image is moving the artifacts from the interpolation are less clearly visible, they are still there, and for me image quality is important, so this camera is not the best option I could have gone for. But here we come to the second thing that it does better than the SJ7. The H9R is by far the longest lasting camera on a single battery. During this flight it recorded almost 90 minutes of interpolated 4K recording, which is very close to the advertised recording time given for 1080p, so congratulations EKEN, you got one thing right. I was indeed impressed by this. None of the other cameras I currently have can record over 1 hour on a single battery. So end of the day, if you're looking for a cheap 4K camera because of the image quality and the actual 4K video recording, the H9R might not give you the results you're looking for. There's the Firefly 6S for that. On the other hand, if you're looking for a cheap camera that lasts a while on a single battery, probably has some decent 1080p recording and would allow you to at least brag about getting a 4K camera for $60 and has batteries cheap as chips, then the EKEN H9R is a killer option. During the upcoming Black Friday you will be able to get the set I got on Amazon for just under $50 with a coupon code, and also throughout the foreseeable month or so you will be able to get it for around $62 with another coupon code, both of which can be found in the description below, so check them out just in case you're still interested in this camera even after this not so flattering review. And just in case you somehow found this video helpful or interesting, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and consider doing the same on Facebook for daily updates. I wish you happy and safe whatever it is you're doing right now, and I will see you next time.